participants here. Hi, Chinmay. Hi, Shiva. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Chinmay Oza, and I have a master's degree in law, and my specialization is European Union and international law.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Shiva. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, this is Rajesh. Actually, it's from Shoka. It's a Shuman Embedded Technology from Bangalore. Yeah. We are curious to know about some of the legal terms which you posted upon in the chat. I believe it's a kind of initial session for us to know about. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Raj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Uh, just waiting for some more participants, then we can start. Yeah.
Pradeep, it is showing only half the slide. Can you either make the size smaller?
Give me a second and just try this.
Pratibha, at 7:10 we'll start. Hello. Pratibha, am I audible?
Yes, I think a lot of us have joined, and we can start the webinar. Gradually, more people will join, and we'll just start from there. So we are live on YouTube and LinkedIn as well. Welcome everyone. I'm Pratima, and I'm representing YT today, and we have guests with us who are lawyers, Ma'am Pradipti and Sir NP Singh. They are very well experienced lawyers having decades of experience in corporate law, contract drafting, and international affairs. So very we are very glad to have them with us today here, and they're here to share their knowledge with us and help each one of us, aspiring entrepreneurs or current startup founders, business owners, be at whatever scale. They're here to guide us right from when we start a business or think of starting a business, all the way up to when we wind up a business and everything in the middle. So they answer each and every question that we have, and they share their experience with us. So very warm welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for coming here for your time. I think we have a good experience for all of our participants today. Over to you, sir and ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ridhima, for a nice introduction. So I'll just add a bit of my experience with you guys. I'm a commercial lawyer with over 25 years of experience in courts as well as in companies. I have appeared in all levels of courts and tribunals. And if you may go down to the map, I think it's on slide 2.
Yeah, hi NP. You were saying something?
Go down to the map and the slide 2. So just hold on here. So this is all the regions and geographies where I have gone and either set up companies or closed companies. Have done disputes, commercial disputes. This is a wide variety of industries like IT, EPC, engineering, then food to cities. So coming from all these experiences, I would be kind of taking you through the legal landscape that businessman traverses from the onset of the business to closing of that business. With me is my colleague Pradipti. Pradipti had been a lawyer on international projects with Orita, and she has managed teams as large as 24 lawyers, and she had been all over India, and now she is a returning mother to profession. So she is brilliant at whatever she does.
Thank you, NP. That was very kind. Hi everyone.
So yeah, let's go to the slide just before this. What is law? So friends, we I don't know what is the texture of the people who have joined in this room, but in this presentation we would be talking about very basic things. I'm assuming that people are in different stages of business here. So somebody might be at a different stage, another person might be at a different stage. So we would be first coming to a baseline, and then we would be talking. So Ridhima has some questions, which some participants have already sent. We will be answering those questions after the presentation. And then there's an open house. You can ask anything that pops up in your mind. While I'm talking, you can note down your questions, and we can come back to that slide and that point later on. Right. So that is how we divided the presentation. First half an hour is the presentation, then second half an hour is the Q&A, and the third half an hour is the open house. So, this is an exercise by Wisely, especially keeping the Gen Z in mind and other new entrepreneurs. So this interaction that we had with Wisely, so this question came up that what should young entrepreneurs should be looking at while starting up a new business, and what does law do in business? How do law and business interact with each other? So I thought the first question is, what is law? And if you look at these pictures, I mean, there are two pictures here. One shows order and other shows utter chaos. Uh, so, the law, I mean, the picture on the left is also law, and the picture on the right is also law, right? And the point which I want to make through this picture is that law is not something that we desire. Law is something which is already there, and we set ourselves according to whatever is the contour of the place, right? It may not be to our liking, but it is what it is. So as commercial lawyers, we see things as they are, and then we devise our ways around it, and those ways have to be legal, of course, right? uh, so law, when we are in law college, we learn what is law and see the schools of thought and this and that. But later on, as is law is what the book says, law is what the people see, and law is what the court says. And then, of course, you ought to know that there is no traffic cop who will come and give a ticket to you. So that is also in existence. So there is a gap in what the book says and what the authority does. Right. So the reality and the book are quite different here. Nonetheless, for our purpose as entrepreneurs, this is the reality. This is the law. Right. Next slide. So in the map, you would have seen that before I was like 40, I've been all over the world, and I've been to 22 countries doing business. In those days, I used to refer to something which is called World Bank's doing business, right? And that would decide what conditions I would put in contract, what kind of company I would make in that country, and what things I would have to be careful of, right? So this is a life cycle of business that the laws cater for. Now it is from starting a business to getting a location and then accessing finance and dealing with day-to-day operations and operations in a secure business environment. And then, of course, closing the business. And the subparts there are, again, those labor situation, the utilities, the financing and the banking situation of that country, the disputes resolution. That is very important, and it primarily decides all of the behaviors of business in that scenario. And then last, insolvency. Insolvency is how does a geography handle bankruptcy? Now, the reason for doing this is when we talk about young entrepreneurs or young businessmen, we want, I thought it will be a whole picture. Sometime back, I had written an article about what is the difference between mechanic and engineer, right? So the mechanic knows the parts and the engineer knows the systems. So if you have taken your part working, he doesn't know about the whole system. Works. Then the engineer comes in the picture. Entire system. So I'm going to give you a feel of the business scenario. Next slide, please. So in 2021, I think, World Bank discontinued the doing business matrix, and they have introduced a new metric now, which is called Be Ready, Business Ready. Now, so we would, for this presentation, I thought it would be better that I take you through the matrix which the economists have already come to as sacrosanct for business. Now, instead of giving you a fish, I thought I'll teach you how to catch a fish, and do your homework before you start a business or when you are within a business, to give a fair idea that what is the kind of climate or environment that your business will be operating in, and what ought to look for having a successful enterprise. So the World Bank PhD says the businesses, there are 10 factors which decide the success of an entrepreneur, right? And then they give the matrix for all the geographies. So this is still in making. They are yet to cover the entire 190 countries. But you can apply this theory even within the geography. For example, even within US or even within India, which is a very big geography, you can apply these thought processes and these metrics to the betterment of your enterprise. Now, the 10 important metrics are: first is the business entry. How easy or difficult is a business entry to start a business? And then business location. Then is utility services which are available. Then the label dynamics and the market of that area. Then financial services. By the way, I also had a thought in my mind that generally when people come to talk about entrepreneurship and business ideas and all that, there's only one thing that people have in their mind. That is the term sheet and the VC agreement. That agreement where you get a funding. And most people think that is where the business is, or an entrepreneur. Let's say I use the word entrepreneur or founder. The only bulb that would be switched on in his mind would be the term sheet, right, which gives the funding. Term sheet is only a subset of the financial services segment. It is not anything in its own, right? So all the factors come into play, and term sheet or the funding is only a small part of the business that you take. Then is international trade. Then is your taxation. How taxation plays out. Then dispute resolution. So dispute resolution is my forte, and that is where I live. Dispute resolution is what surgery is to medicine. Dispute resolution is to law. Right? It cuts across everything. You might have a dispute with your founder in the business entry level. You might have a dispute with the labor. You might have dispute with your investor, right? Or there's a bankruptcy issue. Even the next one which we talk about is market competition. You might have a competition issue, and we will take one of them. So dispute resolution, the dispute lawyer or a litigating lawyer cuts across all the branches of law. And last is business insolvency. Now, it is an often overlooked issue that how would you close the company? See, today there are services available. You can start a company within 7 days. But can you close a company within 7 days? Absolutely not. And then if you cannot close the company within 7 days, or if you have, if there is a bad venture, and if you cannot close it, your future ventures are also questioned, because the investors and other people who are looking at, they will look at your bad venture first. Next slide. So now we will take these 10 issues one by one, and I'll just quickly run you through that. Now, the first one is starting a new business. Starting a new business, overall, the regulation is in favor of switching from informal to formal business setup. What do we mean by that? Informal business setup is like, I'm a proprietor of my office. I'm the only one, right? So for certain threshold, I don't need certain compliances, right? But then I don't enjoy those things which a company can enjoy. So what law says, you formalize your business, you form a company. Now, when you form a company, it has its own new persona, its own new character. Form a company, director, and now you are not a fly-by-nighter, and you have the safe business environment. So instead of having everybody in an informal setup where you don't know who the next person is, who you're interacting with, you now have a person with credentials which are verified by the government, right? And now you can participate in the government schemes and all that. That's the reason why they ask you to incorporate companies when you want to avail the SOPs by the governments. This also prevents the misuse of the companies for illegal purposes, right? All the bad businesses, you can form a company and do it, because then the director there is involved and his credentials are there. You know who to go and catch. Then further, when you expand your business, let's say go from one country to other country, then there's a question which comes whether you can form a domestic firm, or some geographies allow even a foreign firm to apply. Some companies, some geographies allow even foreign companies to start a branch in their country, right? So we'll speak more about this in taxation. Next. So before you can go on. So from proprietor, so there's often this question I see floating around on LinkedIn and internet: what form of company you should form? You see, first is you are a proprietor. Second level is you are a firm of two people, a partnership firm. And then the third is when this partnership firms caps its liability, which is we call a limited liability firm. And then you form a private limited company where you can enjoy most of the benefits that that an incorporated company has. And lastly, the public listed company, the public company, which can draw money from public by way of shares, right? So this all depends on the kind of business you are doing. So this decision is based on that, right? That how much money is involved, who all people are involved, whether the company would hold an IP in it, what would be the customer base there, the branding and all that. So this is the reason why you have different kinds of business vehicles. And further, this doesn't stop at only in the beginning of the company, but when you are doing business later on, you get into JVs with other companies. So those joint ventures again are having similar consideration, right? So this is all these 10 aspects are continuous. Even if your business grows, you keep on going back to them. The second is getting a location. This is another very important thing. Your location, by and large, decides the success that you will meet in your business. The right location will give you the right opportunities, and even in this digital age, right? And then location also decides your construction permits, the leases, because you need a place to do your business. Even in this digital age where you can do virtual things, but still you need, very soon you would need a place to do your business. And then Location also decides your tax and excise incidents and all of the laws applicable. Labor. Location also decides what kind of labor you will get to do your work, right? What is the cost of labor? And the labor arbitrage is one of the greatest things that we are seeing in last few years. And in the international business, that is one of the major factors that comes into picture. So, locations, I think somebody sent a question already whether location is important. Yes, location is one of the most important aspects, right? Um, when I was working for one large IT company, we were thinking of expanding within India, and we were considering whether we should go to in Bangalore and whether we should expand in Delhi and somewhere else or go to tier B cities. There was one simple question which could not be answered, that if I need to scale up to 200 software engineers in one city, where can I be? So the question answer was, you have to be in Bangalore. So the further expansion went in Bangalore only. Next slide, please. The third parameter is utility service. Now, in this day and age, if we talk about electricity, water, and internet, it looks like, oh, no, this is all given, but it is not so. There are very few in developing economies where the utilities are very good. One metric shows that in the developing economies, around $82 billion is the annual losses that companies incur because of the power outages alone, right? And if you want to start an office or business somewhere, you must look what your internet and electricity look like there, and what are the operational efficiencies. When we talk about operational efficiencies, we say that okay, if there is a power outage or internet outage, how much time it takes to get it up, right? Or what are the alternate? So if you have a genset in place, then the genset has its own compliances, right? And that is another complication that you always look at. So there was this company that we were working in, and they were considering opening offices in Class B cities, and Chandigarh was one of the options that in those days we explored. I'm talking about year 2008 or 9. The outsourcing business was just picking up. So the thing about these Class B cities was that the electricity was very patchy, and if the electricity department would come to know that your business is depending on that, then they kind of not act well with you, and then you end up more, and then the business viability goes down. So for that reason, the company decided to stay in the tier class A cities only. So that was about the utility services. Next slide. Yes, labor. So labor in any business is the most important factor. Now, as I just mentioned about that IT company who wanted to have software engineers and scale up on that, so they chose Bangalore. Similarly, in whatever field you are starting your enterprise, do you have the right kind of labor there? And labor is the fundamental factor of production. So where does your productivity in any business come from? So it comes from the quality of labor you get, and the kind of delivery they can make. Labor regulations seek labor security of their income and hence more stable business environment. Generally, all the labor laws are towards this factor that labor should be more stable. The more stable the labor is, the more productivity there is. For this, they have minimum wages, equal remuneration for equal work, and health and safety. And what is very important that you have to look at any place is the gap between regulation and governance, right? Some days back, I did a video on Zomato going abroad and then closing within within a year 10, uh, 10 entities in 10 different geographies. Now, the thing is that you can call a delivery guy a partner in India, but some geographies don't allow that. They say no, they would be your full-time employees. So the moment the new buzzword of the gig work, which is here, or a partner thing, so most countries don't allow that. So I think that's one of the reasons that your business viability did not come there. And next one, Pradeep. Financial services, yeah. So financial service, this is the primary role uh, on in formalizing the business that we spoke in the first slide, the initial why you make a company in the first place. Uh, so that so the regulators want that most of the business should be formal business. It should have a formal organization. You should know who you are doing the business with, and that the person behind that business or that business should be accountable to law, right? You should not be dealing with any person who is not accountable to law. So the primary role for that is so that the funds can flow freely, and the funding of the new firms and the expansion of the firms. So you would not only need funds to start a new firm, but once your firm takes off, then you would again need funds in expansion of your business. Money is needed to even innovate or expand customer base. Firms need to ride out the periods of low volatile cash flows as well. And then access to finance and payment services. I'll just give you an example why what I mean by access to finance and payment services. So in Australia, all the companies are like we have a credit rating in India, CIBIL score for individuals. In Australia, they have for companies as well. So the companies who are not paying their vendors on time, they have a poor rating, and it is all available on net, and it is like knowledge. So the moment you are dealing with a company who is not paying his vendors on time, you would raise the price. So the companies which don't pay the vendors on time or delay or do things like that, they get higher prices for all the works that they are getting done. So these are payment services that are available around the world. So that is why Australia is a mature market to play in vis-a-vis other developing countries. So this is an example, and where there is a robust financial infra, it gives a confidence to financial user and that their money is safe. See what is most important. So now let me just take a moment to answer what in my mind is in everybody's mind. I don't know how true it is, but generally a founder is looking for an investor. Now, an investor is taking some risks, but he still wants a security for his money, right? So that is where your term sheet comes into picture, and that term sheet finally becomes an agreement between the founder and the investor, which has certain clauses in it which come from the incorporation documents which we spoke about in the first slide. So the shares, how the money will how the shares will be decided. They say that we want a preferred share, and who will take the decisions, the board decisions. So all that comes in the formality part of starting up the business, right? So that is where your financial services are coming. But this is not all about financial services. Financial services also include your banks, if they can give you good credit lines. Um, Financial situation of a geography also decides what will be the price of the capital. You see, when you are going out and you are taking capital in, you are paying a price for that capital, right? You can take a loan also at whatever percentage, 10, 12, but you take investment, right? Which is much higher, or there is a risk distribution. So all that comes into financial services, right? If you get a very cheap loan to run your business, you would prefer that. And for that, government again has schemes where they are giving cheaper loans and subsidies, and all that again is in only in the formal sector, right? Next slide. International trade is one of my favorites, and since I have spent a lot of time in this, so I asked this question to myself: how far is anyone today from international trade? Right? No one is far from international trade, not even a freelancer. My wife teaches English, and she is a freelancer, and she is now working with companies or organizations which are out of India, and she has students all over the world which are sending her money in different currencies, right? Why international trade should be on everybody's desk is because it gives you a bigger market. So if an English tutor is looking at international students and having an international presence today, or myself, like I also have some international clients, and so nobody is far from international trade today, and you have to look at then the export and import costs, which might surprise you at some time. So if you are into manufacturing, so there is a drone startup that I'm advising. So they would have to get some parts from some parts from China, some parts from Israel, and then they want to put it together here in India. And so so today you cannot be doing everything on your own. So whatever your business is, there is definitely an overlap with so many countries. So the geographies, you have to look at uh, what is the length of the custom clearance time there, what are the logistics involved. So custom is again again a very some complex, normally a complex thing, but then some countries have simplified it, and that is where the strength of each geography is residing today. Um, and then the relating banking transactions. So if you are dealing with international clients, you have to do the banking with a smart bank. Not all banks are not same, right? All banks don't have even the wherewithal to handle even the inward remittances that are coming, right? So, let alone sending money outside, so which require a different, what you call, different level of compliances and skill set. So, if you are in international trade, you have to choose your bank also wisely. Next one, Pradeep. Okay, taxation. Uh, See, taxation at a very high level is a tool employed by the government worldwide. It is not a phenomenon in one or the country that generates the revenue and reallocates for social issues, which again comes into the system by business and commerce, right? So that is the whole thing is to make it cyclical. A good tax policy, if you have to analyze or sit with a tax expert, you have to see that the balance has to be between revenue and the burden that the company bears for paying that tax. That is a conversation that you must have with the tax expert on the taxes applicable to your business, right? And what I have seen and experienced in my experience, there's a difference between tax optimization and tax avoidance, right? Tax avoidance has very bad consequences, and tax optimization is a very smart thing to do, right? For example, when you are filling up your forms, your tax forms, and you are giving the HRA receipts, if you don't give the house rent receipts, the tax is more. So you optimize the tax by giving the receipts. You are not avoiding the tax, right? But if you are giving wrong receipts, then you are avoiding the tax. which has its a penal what you call outcome to that. So, and then when you are doing international business, something that you have to be very particular about is that that your company does not become a permanent establishment there. So there are rules for permanent establishment that are there, and it is governed by double tax treaties between the countries. So let's say, for example, in some country you are doing business for 6 months, so you would have a permanent establishment there. So you again have to go and uh, consult with a tax consultant, and he will tell you that you would have to form a company there or whatever. How do you make money there, and how you repatriate money from that geography, right? So this was about the taxation. Next one, Pradeep. Dispute resolution. So I think, from my perspective, since I do that, I think this is the most important. And commercial disputes are happening everywhere and all the time. But the resolution of those disputes is where the game is. How quickly you can do that, how efficiently you can do that, that is where economies or geographies make a difference. I give you a simple example. There was this friend of mine. He was given an offer by somebody quite high up in politics in UP to invest in warehouses. So I said, okay, do that, but you are telling me that the guy is quite influential there. How will you take the money out from UP if you want to? So he said, I would do it, sign an agreement in writing. I said, well, that's okay, but you have to go to the court to get it executed, right? To get an order in your favor, and then the court has to execute that order. If you feel that can be, or if you have done your research and homework, that yes, the courts there in whatever small place in UP will be able to get your money out, then by all means go ahead with the investment that you want to make and start your business there. So that is the homework that everybody must do. Effective courts mean greater access to finance and more borrowing. You see, the money flows only on one faith and trust that this money will come back or some value will come back out of that. Now, if the value doesn't come back, if it is not enforceable, if the courts don't give an order and that order is not executed by the administration, then you would have very little to play with. So effective courts directly translate to more borrowing and more fluidity in the economy. So investors would know that their claims will be redressed freely. So in the geographies where the redressal is nice and quick, the investors are quite forgiving. And in the geographies where the redressal is very difficult, the investors there they make stringent conditions in the agreement when they are putting in money. Limited contract enforceability of contracts is associated with suboptimal distribution of resources. So if you see that in some geography, that some people are very rich and some people are very poor, and there is the distribution of resources in that geography is very, very vague, it would tell you clearly that the enforceability of contracts is very poor there. Next one, Pradeep. Okay, market competition. Now, this is something that is uh, overlooked by most entrepreneurs, right? So market competition is, let me just first speak something about, then I'll give an example. So it spurs the economic growth with better products, jobs, and higher incomes. So if there is competition in the market, so obviously there is a competition for better services, there's competition for better products and higher wages for people. So it is said that in a free market, the top 10 slots of anything are very fiercely contested places. Little movement, if there is no movement there in the top 10 slots, uh, I think then people start thinking that that market is rigged. Effective regulation in competition law keeps the market very competitive. That is done by antitrust laws. Antitrust laws are where the dominant, the enterprise in dominant position doesn't abuse its dominant position, right? Recently, there was this case where which was decided where so you make an app and you go to Google Play Store, but the Google Play Store then decides that how will you take the money and what part of that money will go to Google Play Store. So the court gave an order on this that this is an abuse of the dominant power. So it is not necessary that that you have to be very big to come under antitrust laws. You make use of antitrust laws even when you're very small. I was working for a company, and we had a very small presence in India, and we were competing against a listed company in that field. So they were making our life hell. So we then sent them a notice uh, that you are now abusing your dominant position in the market. And then they came down on the table to negotiate, and then this thing. It further tells you some contracts are illegal, like cartelizing, getting together with 3 4 people to beat the competition. So everybody is affected with competition laws. So you should know about the competition laws right from the beginning, even when you're very small, because the moment you're growing up, there are chances that the larger enterprise might eat you up, even might not let you grow beyond certain point, and then they say, okay, give us your business, and you go away. You might not want to do that. So that is where you look at the competition laws. uh, there are protections to MSME companies in India, that is micro, small, and uh, mini enterprises. So there are separate laws for payment, and you have to report in your reporting if you are not paying any MSME. And then IP and licensing this thing. And then if you are an MSME, a small company, you are given special preference in public contracts by the government as well. Have to look at that. Last one, Pradeep. And the last one is business insolvency. This is uh, this is, I think, one of the most important aspects which people don't look at, and it causes a lot of trouble. Um, I remember I had gone to close one of the companies which we were not using for one of the businesses, and it was an ROC. Now, ROC is a regional operating company. Some countries were giving benefits for starting their regional operating company in their country, like Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong. They were offering some tax benefits and some benefits, and some companies were opening their ROCs there. But then ROCs had to have certain compliances and certain requirements. So this company did not meet those requirements, and they could not take benefits. So we had to close the ROC, which was again a formal company. I think in those days we had to pay around $20,000 as fines just to close the company. So closing the company is a very important thing. And why it is important is because uh, let's say you have started a venture and the venture failed miserably. Now you want to close that venture and start a new one. So again, as your civil rating, your investor would look at that. Okay, you had 2 other ventures which are failed, which are still existing. What did you do with them? Why didn't you get them closed? Right? Uh, then closing your business also helps you reallocate the resources and restructuring. And then this brings us stability in the financial system. Unresolved bankruptcies create issues and financing new ventures. very recently there is a Supreme Court judgment where they cancelled out Bhushan Steel's insolvency. So Jindal Steel had acquired that. There was something around this deal was the deal size was 19,000 something lakh 19,000 something crores worth of deal which was cancelled. Now, there are some views which are saying that the court should have looked at this huge, big size of deal. But then the other way of looking at it is that maybe Bhushan Steel was not 90,000 crores, maybe it was 25,000 crores, maybe it was 30,000 crores. So the shareholders of Bhushan Steel would have that much more money, and then they could reallocate those to different resources. So business insolvency has to be very. Then I was in fact advising one UK company also. They wanted to close their business here, and there was a creditor who was not letting that happen. So it will take them 2 years to close that company. That was the advice of the chart accountant in that case. So this is something very important, uh, which we should always look at. So exit is something that all entrepreneurs must have in mind. That when do you exit and how do you exit? It could be taking the company to the IPO, or it could be taking it to insolvency. Insolvency is a very bad and undesirable result, of course, but one should always be open to that as well. So, was next? So yeah, so here we are. These are the 10 major areas that a business goes through in its lifetime, and uh, they crisscross each other. So we have some questions already, and after that we can open the house.
Sure. Thank you so much, NP sir. Thank you so much, Pradeepti ma'am. That was indeed a very, very, very informative session. We went through the entire life cycle of a business, right from the starting all the way up to insolvency and how do you close it. We'll start taking the questions now, and all of you would be able to ask your questions by raising the hand as well. So we'll take up the questions first, some questions that we received in the Google form, and meanwhile, in the middle, we'll take some live questions as well. So the first question is from Ankit Garg. What all to take care of in food and beverage business in terms of health-related claims, and how to do testing or verifications of the claims? Yes, sir. Sir, I think
Auntie,
you're
I
on
think
mute.
you're muted.
Okay, am I audible now? Okay. So
Yes,
for
sir. Yes, bro.
food and beverage businesses, see, the nodal authority is FSSAI. FSSAI, Food Safety and Standardization Authority of India. Uh, you have to go to their website, and it is quite comprehensive website and gives you all the details. And further, if you need any help, then we can help you out, or you need to seek a food specialist. But your question is very generic. I assume that you're talking about uh, if you are operating a food business, what standards and things are to be applied. So the details are there on FSSAI website.
I think, sir, Ankit is here in the meet. Ankit, if you would like to ask any follow-up question or get more clarity, you can go ahead. Okay, I think okay, it was just general. No problem. We can move on to the next question, which
Okay.
comes from Ashish Sood. Trademarking of the company name and logo. What is the process of trademarking, sir?
Okay. So whenever you start a business, you always start when you're formalizing your business, you start with a company name. You always search for the company name. There is a search you do, and then you form a logo. Um, and then you get that company name registered and the logo registered. That logo becomes your intellectual property. Then now the lawyers who do this, the trademark registration and all, they help you with this. And there are some other service providers as well who help you with the trademark registry and all that. So again, when I am talking about these things, I am talking about in two. There are some things which are very clerical, and there are something which are like the contentious part. This comes in the procedural part of law. So it is pretty straightforward. You can engage any either a company or a trademark lawyers. So you can search on LinkedIn, and there are so many people who do that. And this is not an expensive affair as well.
Yes, I think, sir, there is a notion among founders that they are not clear as to what time will it take for their trademark to get approved. Can we give them more clarity on this? Like, what is the process that is officially followed, and how long can it take for the trademark to get approved?
Um, See, as a ballpark, I can say takes a month and a half. So the issue with trademarks is that your trademark should not be looking like somebody else's trademark. So
That's
the question is not that okay, if I have a very unique trademark, it will just sail through, right? But if my trademark is getting mixed up with somebody else's trademark, so those are the questions and cycles then you have to go through. So that is what takes time.
understood. Understood. Let's move to the next question. I think Utkarsh has raised a hand. We can take up his question.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Ridhima. Hello, sir, and hello, ma'am. My question is, like, let's suppose a founder cannot afford a corporate lawyer for the contract. So, how can he onboard founding team?
Okay. So you have so let's say you and another guy wants or girl, let's say, you want to start a venture together, right? And
Yep,
how can you do that?
correct.
So Utkarsh, see, all the businesses in my experience and even very large businesses are done, excuse me, are done on a shake hand, right? That is the biggest contract, the word of mouth of a person that I will do this, you will do this, right? Mostly founders start from there only. Now you want to formalize this, right? You want to have something chalked out, right? That is the time you need to go to a lawyer, and uh, you don't need to go to an expert corporate lawyer, right? So I think people do a ChatGPT agreement also these days, but I am not okay with that because ChatGPT doesn't know which side you are, and it generally mixes. Today also I kind of helped somebody's email. He was admitting few things which he should not have because the AI had drafted that email. So I don't advise that. But going to a very young lawyer, and if I were you, I would just go to a young smart lawyer, search on LinkedIn, and maybe I'll spend 5 or 10,000 rupees and get a nice agreement drafted. I think that is the right amount. That's the minimum amount you should spend on something which you are considering so important. If it is
Correct.
much more than a handshake, so
Correct, sir.
you can do that. You can pick up any bright and smart lawyer and ask him.
Got it, sir. And
Got
one more question is there.
So,
And sir, let's suppose a founding, like one of my founder comes and he just leaves after 1 month of working, and but he holds the equity. So after leaving the venture, will he be still holding my equity?
okay, now I understand your question, the writing agreement. So you don't have an agreement with him in the writing.
Yep.
All right. So you want the founder out now because he doesn't want to be in, right? So now you have to because you are already in a formal setup, right? As you are talking about holding equity.
Correct, sir.
So now you have to enter into an agreement with him so that he leaves the equity to you.
Got
Now,
it.
now that is the question. If you had a founder agreement with him and you had seen that, okay, what happens with if you leave? Where does the equity go? So those clauses, then you know which people talk about that I should have the first right to refuse, and then no, you should not sell this thing outside, and all those clauses come into picture. So you understand the investors' pain also now.
Got it, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you have to formally kind of you have to get into an agreement with him about the equity.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Transfer it. Yeah, it would be an SPA, share purchase agreement or something like that, so that the shares are transferred to you. For that, you will have to look into your articles of association of the company and you know your things like that. The constitution of the company will decide now.
Correct. Yeah.
Sure, let's move on to the next one. I think a lot of us here as founders and startup owners have this question when they're going for investment, right? The formal fundraise process. What are some important clauses or some agreements that they should have in their fundraise document so as to protect themselves as a founder?
All right. The first thing that you must understand is, so sometime back I was reading in I think few years back, the Flipkart's co-founder had got 320 crores for his share for his part in Flipkart, and he was not happy about it because he was of the view that he didn't negotiate the terms well, right at that time when the investors had come in. Now, the point is, you are looking for investors at a time when you are in dire need of money. At that time, are you in a position to negotiate deals? And what position are you in to negotiate deals? What is your strength? So that decides the quality of a investor agreement that you are signing. So for me to tell you, okay, look for this, look for this, look for this, look for this, right? Would not value. It has no value. I can write a separate article tomorrow and put it on LinkedIn that these are the 10 things that you have to look at. But that is a futile exercise because are you in a position to negotiate all that? You're not. Right. So whenever you receive a term sheet, right, that is the time you should understand, and generally everybody does, right? When you are facing an investor, you receive a term sheet, you take it to a lawyer, and then you understand what are the implications of each and every each and every clause they are talking about, right? There are list of 35 clauses,
Right.
right, which are there in a standard term sheet, let alone a complex term sheet.
Good.
Right. So you ask anybody. So again, it is slightly more than reading plain English
Mhm.
because plain English because the implications are not in English; they are in law, which is Greek, right? So you always ask somebody to read that and explain that to you. So there is no one size fits all for term sheets because each business is unique.
Got it, sir. We can take up the next one. Ma'am, would you like to answer this one? When do emerging businesses need a GST? What are the liabilities and requirements of getting it?
Come again, please.
When do emerging businesses need a GST? What are the liabilities and requirements of getting it?
About GST, I think NP will have to take it.
Please, sir.
So yeah, that's not a problem. So GST has a threshold of 20 lakhs for services and 40 lakhs for your goods, right? So unless and until your turnover is that much, you don't need GST number. But then the moment you start interacting with other companies, your vendors, and this thing, what is most important about these goods and service taxes? Sometimes you would need to have input tax. So you would need what you call tax. So let me just give you another thing. So not necessarily in the beginning of the business you need a chartered accountant. You can start with a smaller accountant, right? Who does your book, who keeps your books. So by and large, if you are touching, let's say 30 lakhs annually in turnover, you should start looking at an accountant to look at and keep your books. And in any case, you should keep your books well, so that would give you a clear picture of what your business is doing. So, and then it is not only the GST. When should you start? Then there have to be regular what you call returns that you have to file. So again, the cost factor, a CA would cost more, but an accountant would cost cheaper. So have a kind of an accountant who can file your GST returns, help you maintain books, and so you have a nice foundation right from the beginning. That is what I think is important.
Got it. We can take the next question, which is when registering a startup, should location be an important consideration? For instance, some states like Gujarat offer much stronger support for startups, while better access to CSF fund activities in Maharashtra.
Yes. So we spoke about in our presentation. I think you would have got your answer there and then only. CSF, I think you mean CSF would be crowdsourcing funding, right? That is a way of funding new businesses, crowdsource, and so many people gather and fund that business. So what is important is whether you are within India or across the globe, different geographies have different maturity level, right? If you are interacting with a US company, you would see that most probably not than not the company is registered in Delaware, and now the IT companies are moving on to Austin, right?
Yes.
So all these because the maturity level of that geography is very high in certain countries. In maritime laws of England are very high. So when you are doing contracts in maritime law and with other countries, then you make the jurisdiction of of UK because their laws are quite advanced there. So similarly in India, like as the question only gave the answer that in Maharashtra the crowdsourcing is there, it would not be there in Manipur, right?
Right.
So your location would definitely decide. So Maharashtra and Gujarat and these are things are quite high on maturity curve.
Got
So Bangalore is another geography which is quite high on maturity curve. That's why most of the Bangalore startups are, germinating in Bangalore only.
Got it, sir. Yes, I think you are very well
One
mentioned.
last thing on location, and that you should also observe. You will observe that those organizations and businesses which are regulation heavy, they have their headquarters in Delhi. Your telecommunications, airlines, where you interact a lot with the regulator. So those have their headquarters in Delhi. Others can have their headquarters anywhere they want. So location is quite important to decide.
Got it. Anyone from the meet, if you would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand. We'd like to take up a live question now. Yes, Chaitanya, you can go ahead.
Yes. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. I have put this question in my G form as well, but I'll ask it here. So the question is, if a startup is just in the phase of actually deciding their product or their service and bringing it to life, and in that such a scenario, they're vulnerable to, a point where ideas can be stolen and can be used by other companies and other startups potentially as well.
Yes.
So, how is there any legal procedure or potential safeguard to prevent that from happening?
Yes. So, Chaitanya, what do you do?
I am currently working on an AI-based startup, and it works upon how we can collectively analyze the types of AIs that exist
Mhm.
and a marketplace for the same.
Okay. So, so Chaitanya, your IP is still not fully developed and not registered,
Yes, sir.
right? So, the only thing that you have today is whenever you are showing this or presenting this, you should have a non-disclosure and confidential signed by those people. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So whenever you are sharing any information, so let's say there is a person X, you shared your idea with that person, and you have that person signed an obligation of confidence, that is your NDA or confidentiality agreement. So
Yes, sir.
and there you have said that this is the you have in that agreement we always say okay we will be talking about these things and all that, and now you are sharing that information for a purpose, right? And there are cases which are even reported that somebody used this idea and made his own business out of that, and this person who had signed the confidence agreement with them, he enforced it. This was my idea.
Okay, and how does that legality play around?
So
Like, does it actually result in the fact that the idea was stolen or taken from someone when the non-disclosure agreement was signed?
yeah, yeah.
And is there
Huh.
okay?
So in law, that obligation of confidence was breached by that person.
Okay, so suitable action is taken, right?
Yeah. So when you take the action in the court, so if that is what you're saying, that is what you can advise the other person also. If you steal somebody's idea and you have signed an NDA, you are at risk.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We can take another question from the audience. Devansh has a question. Yes, Devansh, please go ahead.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir, first of all, having this session. My question was ki, as we work with interns and like people who join our team, so how can we ensure that they like people maybe leave in between? What are the legalities that can bind them? Because right now I don't know much about ki if someone is not following the rules, uh, we can hire like fire them maybe after a week or so, like whatever happens. But what are the legal actions, or maybe what are the things you can do to ensure they're working properly, or like following the contract? Not
So, Devansh, you are having a small startup setup, right?
yeah, yeah.
You have a company formed.
Yes, sir.
You have a formal company formed.
Yeah,
Now, within that, some people are working
yeah.
who are, let's say, either the part of the company or employees of company,
Employees of the company.
right? And then you have some interns,
Yeah,
right? So, what is the issue? See, people will leave,
yeah. That will happen. Yeah,
right? I mean, people do levels like
I think
so
what he says is what he means is how to protect his interest in that. Like,
yeah.
you can have like a period of probation.
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean to say we work in a course business and all. So if someone is having a contract with us for 3 months, okay. So if he's getting poached or by any means, because abhi tak it hasn't happened, but poaching is very like open, or like we can see that in coaching business or like courses business. So how can we protect us legally from that? Ki,
so.
yeah,
Let me tell you something. Okay, first thing is uh, formalize your relationship with your interns and employees. Get an agreement made, a
Yeah.
smaller, clearer agreement.
Mhm.
I've seen even the best of the companies also make sometimes a very small offer letter and they're working. There's a dispute we have for an employee with the with the union, and they also have a very small offer letter and
Mhm.
few terms only. Tier one law firm is on that.
Mhm.
So a very small offer letter uh, you and your employees have, you and your interns have. So ask them to receive sign on it as a what you call
Yeah.
what you
We
call.
we do have that. Yeah.
So you have
We-
that,
Yeah, we
and
have that as well.
by and large that. But what you need to know is that the contracts of personal service are not enforceable.
Okay.
Any day, any person wants to leave you,
Mm-hmm.
that contract cannot be enforced,
Okay.
right? Because I have to give the service.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
let's say you engage a painter to paint the wall
Uh-huh.
in a very
Yes, sir.
artistic manner,
Yeah.
but then halfway through he says, "I'm not coming. I'm not like this."
Mm-hmm.
So you can claim for damages or something, but you cannot make him finish the painting.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is the same thing which applies to employees and everybody.
Okay. Okay,
They're
sir.
human,
Uh-huh.
so you cannot make another. That's the law of India, at least, where you are operating.
Got it, sir.
Like, you cannot say, "Okay, no, no, you have to come."
So, matlab, if they violates the maybe the offer letter and all the terms of it, so we can only like maybe claim for the damages they have done, like duration.
So you put a stipulation there.
Hmm.
Let's say if there is a 3 month internship you're offering,
Uh-huh.
right? But then there has to be consideration. It should not be a free internship,
No, yeah, definitely not.
right?
Yeah.
So then you say if you are leaving this internship, let's say you have to give us 15 days notice.
We have that. Yeah.
So, or if you don't give us 15 days notice, serve 15 days notice, then you pay us the value of those 15 days in lieu of that.
Matlab, the employee will be paying us.
The employee, the person who is leaving, let's say I am leaving
Oh. Uh-huh.
and I have signed on a 15 days notice period,
Okay.
or the value in lieu of. So let's say if your internship value was 100 rupees per month and 15 days is 50 rupees. So I give you 50 rupees and I go. And that is enforceable.
Okay, sir.
There
And
has to be
for doing that
consideration.
even doing that more quickly, the dispute resolution that you should have in your this thing is this online dispute resolution.
Got
Arbitration.
it. Got it, sir.
Yeah.
That is something we'll definitely include in our contracts from now on.
Uh,
One more small question, sir. I really struggle in managing the finances. Like, what are the basic sheets? Just can you just tell me? Because I searched online, so there were multiple sheets. So we have to maintain Excel's month on month.
So, see, I tell you, so this is a uh, so while life is a DIY project,
Mm-hmm.
everything in it is not, right? You have to start something. तो wheel invent करने से शुरू नहीं करोगे आप.
Yes, sir, for
There
sure.
are people who know things, and
Yes,
as
sir.
I just mentioned, like you wanted company setup, go to that guy who sets up companies. He takes 5,000 rupees. He will just do all the thing for you. Your company will be set up. You need trademark. You go to the guy, service provider who sets up, who does trademark stuff. He will take 5 and 10,000 rupees. Do the search, do this thing. Now you are coming close to GST as somebody asked. Have your accountant,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a very small compliance. It is not expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Then help young people like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Find a young accountant like yourself who is also working. Tell him that, okay, yeah, help me out with this thing. But who should be doing it professionally,
Yes, sir, definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Ask him to help, matlab, take it, this thing, do keep all your books,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then finally make a balance sheet for you, show you the cash flows.
Got it.
So you will learn it when you will learn it. But
Mm-hmm.
right now there isn't a accountant who will be able to keep all the records. You okay,
Yeah.
this is your inventory, this is your this thing, here is your, and this is your total balance sheet.
Yeah. Actually, I was applying to an accelerator and all, so they were asking for certain matrices
Yeah.
that I haven't like tracked over the years, and even accountants do not know much about case. Like we have to get some अच्छा accountant, तो maybe, but nice.
हाँ नहीं so ये हमारे यहाँ पे एक इशू है ढूंढने के लिए we have to find good professionals. I think that is what Wisey does.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
so
Yeah.
so Ridhima, you have to look for good company secretaries. You have to look for good trademark registering services people. You have to look for good accountants, not chartered accountants. They're expensive, right? People who do tally and all that, right? You have to look for these are ancillary services which businesses need,
Hmm.
and I think that is what
Yep.
Wisey's business is.
Yeah, Devansh will help you connect with some
Uh,
of the financial experts you have on board.
Yeah, but
So,
तो
Doesn't need experts.
definitely.
He needs to do this thing right.
हाँ.
Need experts when he's getting into investments and all that.
Even my father owns a business, so उसमें even I
Ask
get the
his
help from my.
accountant to help you. Ask
Yeah,
his,
I do that.
yeah.
But yeah, certain matrices I was just looking for कि maybe that I can maybe explain them while learning myself, as well as explain them कि we have to track these also, because when I was
Yes.
applying that really wonder.
See, you need to be as a business head. You need to the skill that you need is to know what
Mhm.
matrix to read and how to read the data,
Sure.
right? But somebody else keeps the data,
Yep.
and somebody else keeps the book nice because you cannot spend time keeping books. That is
Yes,
somebody
sir.
else's game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
let's take the next one, which was from our Google form. So, we once worked as a tech consultant for automobile manufacturing. The contract was to develop methods to identify faults in a single product. But the company later asserted that the model submitted to us was not just the product, but all variations of that unit which performs the
I got
same
the
function.
question. So,
Yeah.
is this person still on or has dropped off? What's the name of the?
It's Nishant. Nishant Mailada.
Okay.
Nishant, I think he's not
So,
there.
okay. The question is, there is somebody who gave a product to for this product to this startup, and they had to develop this, and then they added all sorts of things that no, this didn't mean this only, but a variant B, a variant C, variant D of this product, and that is what caught them unaware. Now, this is a scope issue. Scope issue is whenever we are giving services or product to somebody, we do two things. One, we say that this is the product that we are giving you, or this is the service we give you. We describe that clearly, right? And anything which is not contained in here is not accounted for pricing, right? This is typical, and all of you have experienced it. You book a hotel room. So they say this is included. Breakfast is included. So, or in the other format, dinner and breakfast and dinner are included. Nothing else is included, right? So, this is called scope in legal terms. So you have to clearly scope out what you're giving. And in advanced contracting, you also give that these are the pricing assumptions. So if the pricing of, let's say, so I may take Ridhama's help in certain matter, right? That's the pricing assumption that Sigma charges $100 an hour, right? But now suddenly it's an external factor and Sigma is charging $200 an hour. So I would say the things have changed now. My pricing is the pricing has changed now. So you should, but if you are not going in pricing assumptions, at least have your scope clear. Learn it from the hotels. What is included and what is not included. So in what
Definitely.
price, what is included, period. So that is the fault in that contract which you signed, that you can say what is not included. So they are including everything in it now.
Got it. Again, anybody from the audience who would like to ask a live question, you can raise your hand. You can take a live question now. Aditya, I think Aditya has not spoken before. We'll give him a chance. Utkarsh, we'll take yours after this. Yes, Aditya.
Yeah. So, hi sir, I am Aditya Daryani. So currently we have a startup, so wherein we have made a company wherein what we do is we have made a social media platform wherein we connect all the lawyers, law aspirants, and legal students. Anyone who's interested in law. So basically, what else we do is we are bringing everything that law students need on one platform. When you talk about articles and all that they have to refer, yeah. So I just wanted to ask, what can be the legal implications that we can face in this, and what are the things that we need to focus that we should not put up on our page?
So you are studying law yourself or not?
No, I am not studying law. I am an engineer currently, but in my team I have people who are studying law.
Okay. So what are the legal implications that you are looking at?
Yeah, so I'll just give you an example. So, like we have this podcast section. So basically, the name of my company is Kacheri Diaries. So yeah, so like there's this podcast section wherein what we are doing is we have integrated podcasts from Apple Music, Spotify, or these other platforms onto our platform. And what we are doing is we are running them ad free. So if you are going on Apple Music or anything, they either ask you for a subscription or they ask you that they'll play some ads, right? What we are doing is we are running all of these on our platform in the integrated browsers of Apple Music or YouTube, but these are all ad free. So what I wanted to do is that
short circuited Apple.
Yeah. So
Because you increase your following now.
So what?
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is like any legal implication that I can face, because I am publishing articles on my website. There are many people, there are live users who are posting their stuff.
Got you. See, so long as the content is yours and it is your original, right? And it is your IP, it is fine. But if you are pulling the content from somewhere else and using that for your commercial benefit, that is wrong. Now, how it can be right? So you take a permission from them. So if you are taking a podcast from another platform, you take out their terms and conditions. Every podcast would have some, legal terms and conditions. नीचे link होता है. Okay. Go there. So there you will take out all the terms and conditions, see, and write to those people. So there will be a contact email, there will be a company, there will be an owner. Who will be the owner of that IP? You ask them, can you use it for yourself? Then they'll come back to you, yes, you can use, and if they want money for that, or that is between you and them to negotiate. But without permission, using somebody else's content might cause an issue.
Okay, and also one more thing, like there are live users who are posting content which is not in my control, because what I can control is that what I am posting, I cannot control what people are posting. But there are certain guidelines by BCI that you cannot post certain things, or the website cannot have certain things related to law on their site. So
Correct.
if I have mentioned this in my terms and
Yeah. So So your terms and conditions with the user should make it clear.
Yeah.
So whatever your terms and conditions are with the user, who is so क्या बोलते हैं इसको EULA, no क्या वो end EULA, end user licensing agreement or something like that, right? So you are giving the place, your platform to people to use. Now they should agree with your terms and conditions. They should agree with your rules and regulations before they post anything there.
Okay.
And
So
if they don't do that, then you should have a mechanism to take an action against them. At least take the content off or whatever.
sure.
This is a very common problem. You will receive complaints from people that this is against law, this is against this is our stolen thing and all that. Then you should be able to take an action against it.
Thank you
Got
very
it.
much.
Utkarsh, you can go on, and we'll be wrapping up the session. This will be the last live question. If somebody else has a question, they can raise their hands now.
Sure.
Otherwise,
Yeah, so my question is like, how can I protect my startup's business model or strategies from insiders? Let's leave like for outsiders, like अगर मुझे अपने ही like startups को insider से बचाना है, like I'm working with an employee or freelancer, I have given them the access of MVP or my idea. So like let's suppose they leave next day. So how can I just protect that?
NDA and confidentiality agreement.
Got it.
That in any case you must have with anybody who you are sharing your idea or whoever you onboard. That is your
Got it. Yeah.
that is your only safety.
just one more question from the Google form. How to manage registration of income and business as a freelancer? This is by Rishabh Kumar.
How to manage?
Income and business as a freelancer.
Let me see the question. So,
Income and business, I think she said.
Yes. How to manage registration of income and business as a freelancer.
Registration.
Yes.
Okay.
wait. Go. I didn't get the question. Can you just repeat it again, please? Ridhima, what is the
Yeah.
question?
So, how do we manage registration of income and business as a freelancer?
Registration of income.
Yes.
What is that?
I guess it is about declaration of the income to the government as a freelancer, since you'll be working on multiple
So,
projects.
okay. All right. So, when you are a freelancer, you are an individual, right? And so the income you talking about income tax, right? All this income is from income from profession, right? And then so I think the tax guy will be a better guy to tell you how to file your taxations on this as a freelancer, right? The next step in your journey would be to have a proprietary firm, right? Proprietary firm would help you. So what you need to do is, so proprietary firm would help you offset your expenses, right? And then your final income will be counted, right? For example, I'm a lawyer and I have a profession. I file income tax as a professional, so I am allowed certain certain expenses to be taken out from the income, and then take my income tax for return.
What?
So as if you're working for companies as a freelancer, so they would already be deducting 10% of your payment, and it is a tax deduction at source. So it is already going to your income tax account. So that is your second step when you form a proprietary firm. When your business expands, you can even have a one person company and
Got it.
reduce the liability further and take further benefits of GST inputs and all that. Whatever, I don't know. So that those are the stages I'm talking about. So right now, just as an individual, just file your return as an individual.
Got it. Okay, all right. Is there anybody from the audience who still has a question to ask? Otherwise, we could wrap up the session. All right. I think nobody has any further questions today. So we'll just wrap up session. It was a really long but insightful session. Sir patiently answered each and every question from the audience, and it was a great, insightful session for all the entrepreneurs and young people out here. Pradeepti ma'am, NP sir, thank you so much for coming in. And
Yeah,
I hope all of you who are here have and wish to connect with sir further have filled up the Google form with your details.
yeah. Thank you very much, Ridhima. This was really wonderful session. Loved interacting with such young entrepreneurs, and wishing you all the best in your journeys, and do something nice and wonderful. And don't worry about the law; it's fine. It is there to help you. It is not there to put you down. And do well. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if you have
Thank you.
anything to say.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. It was great interacting. Very limited interaction on my side. My daughter was really raising a havoc here, but it was. I hope
Yes, Deepti is point of contact for us, just in case you want any help. And of course, we demand your delay. Thank you very much, guys.
Sure.
and so exciting to see young people doing such great work.
Yeah.
Kajeri Dairies, I was really impressed.
Yeah. Thank you, Jonty. Thank you, Ridhima. I'll take a leave now.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye, guys. Enjoy your evening.
All
Thanks, Jay.